Do you remember when a trip to Las Vegas felt like you were getting away with something? I'm talking about the era of $5 prime rib buffets, free parking just for showing up, and blackjack tables that actually paid you when you won. It felt like the city wanted you there. But if you have walked the Strip recently, you know that feeling is gone. The lights are brighter than ever, but the soul of the city seems to have dimmed under the weight of optimization. Today, the entry price for that neon fantasy has skyrocketed. We are looking at resort fees hitting $50 a night, effectively doubling your room rate before you even check in, and standard blackjack payouts silently dropping to 6 to 5, mathematically eroding your bankroll faster than ever before. The Sin City bargain has been replaced by aggressive monetization. But what if I told you the old deal still exists? It just moved. Today we are digging into the numbers to find out where the real value went. Walking the Strip today feels less like a vacation and more like a complicated financial transaction. There is a palpable shift in the air, a sense that you are no longer a guest, but a metric to be processed. I spoke with long-time visitors, folks who have been making the pilgrimage since the Stardust was still standing, and the sentiment is universal. It's not for us anymore. It's the optimization trap. Every square inch of carpet, every view, and every amenity has been recalculated to extract maximum value. The romance of the gamble has been traded for the certainty of the quarterly report. But here is the hard truth that corporate brochures won't tell you. You don't have to accept this new reality. The American casino landscape is vast, and while Vegas has pivoted to luxury extraction, other cities have quietly preserved the classic gambler's math. Stick with me as we analyze 6 specific, distinct shifts in the market. 6 cities that offer a legitimate time capsule discount. We aren't just looking for cheap motels. We are auditing the economics of these alternative gambling hubs. We will break down why Laughlin can afford to charge 70% less than the Strip, analyze the superior player's math in Reno, and uncover the dark economics behind Tunica's $5 tables. We will also assess the geographic risk premium you accept in Biloxi, the honest local pricing of Kansas City, and the outdoor value proposition of Lake Tahoe. Later, we'll look at the specific trade-offs you make in each city, so you can decide if the Vegas premium is actually worth it, or if it's time to take your business elsewhere. Part 1. Laughlin, the time capsule discount. If you drive about 90 miles south of the shimmer of the Strip, you hit a town that feels suspiciously like the Las Vegas you remember from 1995. This is Laughlin, Nevada. To understand why your money goes nearly twice as far here, we have to look at the capital expenditure trap that Vegas has built for itself. In Las Vegas, the corporations are locked in an endless arms race of renovation and expansion. When a resort spends $1 billion on a new tower or a high-tech sphere, that money has to come from somewhere. It comes from you. This is why you see resort fees climbing north of $50 a night. They are essentially taxing you for the privilege of helping them pay back their construction loans. Laughlin operates on a completely different economic model. The infrastructure here is older, the carpets might be a specific shade of vintage, and the technology isn't cutting edge. But because these properties aren't drowning in new debt, they don't need to aggressively monetize every interaction. You can find rooms on the river for $61 a night, a price that is functionally extinct on the Strip. Critics will tell you that Laughlin is dated or too quiet, often citing the older demographic. But let's look at this through a financial lens. You are trading the newness premium, that expensive smell of fresh construction, for functional utility. In Vegas, you pay for the spectacle. In Laughlin, you pay for the room. It is a classic time capsule discount. You accept the aesthetics of the past to pay the prices of the past. For the gambler who cares more about their bankroll than the thread count of the sheets or the celebrity chef in the lobby, this trade-off isn't just a bargain. It's a strategic retreat to sanity. Part 2. Reno, the player's math. Now, let's move north to Reno, the biggest little city in the world. If Laughlin is about cheaper rooms, Reno is about something far more critical to your wallet: the mathematics of the game. Over the last decade, a silent plague has swept across the Las Vegas Strip, and its name is 6-to-5 blackjack. To the uninitiated, getting paid $6 for every $5 bet instead of $7.50 might seem like small change, but mathematically, this shift triples the house edge. It is a subtle form of wealth transfer, designed to grind your chips down faster than you can order a complimentary drink. Vegas casinos implement this because their operating costs are astronomical. They simply cannot afford to let you win as often. Reno, however, still fights for the serious player. Because their land costs and labor pressures are lower, many casinos here have maintained the traditional 3-to-2 payout on blackjack. This isn't out of the goodness of their hearts. It is a competitive necessity. They know they can't compete with Vegas on nightclubs or five-star dining, so they compete on math. The trade-off here is stark. In Reno, you won't find a Michelin star restaurant on every corner, and the entertainment lineup might not feature global superstars. But ask yourself, are you going to a casino to watch a show, or are you going to gamble? If you are a player, the Vegas premium is actually a penalty. By choosing Reno, you are effectively opting out of the tourist tax imposed on casual visitors who don't understand the odds. You are accepting a grittier, less polished environment in exchange for a game that gives you a fighting chance. It is a choice between paying for the chandelier above your head or keeping the chips in your rack. Part 3. Tunica, the economics of decline. Leaving the desert behind, we head to the Mississippi Delta to examine a market that reveals the starkest contrast to Las Vegas: Tunica. In the 1990s, this was the third largest gaming market in America, a booming casino capital of the South. Today, the landscape is radically different, and that contraction has created a peculiar opportunity for the budget-conscious gambler. In Las Vegas, high demand is the weapon used against you. Because millions of tourists flood the Strip annually, casinos can afford to eliminate low-limit tables. They don't need your $5 action because there is a line of people waiting to bet $25 or $50. But in Tunica, the economic reality has shifted. The market has contracted significantly, from over a dozen casinos at its peak to just a handful of survivors today. This pressure forces operators to do something Vegas stopped doing years ago: compete for every single dollar. This is where you find the $5 blackjack table, a relic that has been all but erased from the modern Strip. But make no mistake, this low price isn't a gift. It is a symptom. This is what we call a melancholy bargain. You are benefiting directly from the region's economic struggle to retain visitors. The trade-off here is heavy. You aren't in a glittering metropolis of the future. You are in a market fighting to hold on to its past. The energy is different, more subdued, perhaps even a bit gritty. But from a purely dark economics perspective, this is a buyer's market. In Vegas, you are a small fish in a very expensive pond. In Tunica, your bankroll commands respect because the market needs it. You are trading the vibrancy of a booming economy for the pricing power of a struggling one. Part 4. Biloxi, the Geographic Risk Premium. Further south, on the Gulf Coast, lies Biloxi, a destination that offers luxury comparable to Las Vegas, but at a fraction of the price. You can stay at the Beau Rivage, essentially the Bellagio's sister property, for around $120 a night, a rate that would barely get you into a motel on the Las Vegas Strip. But why is a premium product selling at a discount? The answer lies in one term: geographic risk. Vegas sells you certainty. You pay a premium because, in the desert, the environment is controlled, predictable, and engineered for comfort. Biloxi, however, exists in the real world of the Gulf Coast. That $120 room rate includes an invisible disclaimer. You are navigating hurricane season, high humidity, and the unpredictability of coastal weather. The casinos here know they cannot charge Vegas prices because they cannot guarantee the Vegas environment. They have to discount the luxury to offset the risk premium that every traveler subconsciously calculates. If a storm rolls in, the value proposition changes instantly. But for the savvy traveler, this is an arbitrage opportunity. If you are willing to accept the humidity and keep an eye on the weather forecast, you are effectively getting a 5-star experience at a 3-star price. The seafood is fresh, the hospitality is genuine, and the rooms are top tier. The trade-off is that you aren't paying for an artificial paradise. You are paying for a luxury resort that exists at the mercy of nature. You are the insurer of your own vacation. And in exchange for shouldering that risk, the market gives you a massive discount. Part 5. Kansas City, the local economy model. Moving into the heartland, we find Kansas City, a gambling market that exposes the artificial inflation of the Las Vegas economy. To understand the value here, you have to distinguish between tourist pricing and local pricing. The Las Vegas Strip is an island economy. Nearly 100% of its revenue comes from transient visitors. Because you are a captive audience, prices for basic goods, like a beer or a sandwich, are detached from reality. Kansas City operates on a local economy model. The casinos here don't just survive on tourists. They survive on the plumber, the teacher, and the retiree who live down the street. These are customers who know exactly what a beer should cost. If a casino in Kansas City tried to charge $18 for a draft beer like they do on the Strip, the locals wouldn't just complain, they would never come back. This creates a price ceiling that protects you. You can find world-class barbecue for $15 and drinks at neighborhood prices inside the casino. The ugly truth of Vegas is that you are paying a captive tax every time you open your wallet. In Kansas City, that tax disappears. The trade-off, however, is the loss of escapism. In Vegas, everyone is a stranger, and reality feels 1,000 miles away. In Kansas City, you are gambling alongside people who just got off work. The fantasy element is stripped away, leaving only the game and the fair pricing. You lose the illusion of being a high roller in a movie, but you gain the financial respect of being treated like a regular customer rather than a tourist to be harvested. Part 6. Lake Tahoe, the outdoor value. Finally, we look at Lake Tahoe, a destination that challenges the very definition of what you are paying for. Las Vegas is a monument to the indoor experience. Every dollar you spend is for something built by man: air conditioning, neon lights, artificial canals, and windowless gaming floors. You are paying for the overhead of maintaining a controlled environment in the middle of a hostile desert. Lake Tahoe flips this equation. The primary value here isn't inside the casino. It's outside. The mountains, the lake, the fresh air, these are assets that no corporation can gatekeep or charge a resort fee for. While accommodation prices in Tahoe can rival Vegas during peak seasons, the value proposition is fundamentally different. In Vegas, If you aren't spending money, you are essentially loitering. In Tahoe, the best experiences are demonetized. You can spend your day hiking or looking at one of the most beautiful lakes in the world for free, then gamble at night. You aren't trapped in the consumption loop that Vegas designs to keep you spending every waking second. The trade-off is clear. You are swapping the climate-controlled perfection of the Strip for the rugged reality of nature. You won't find the same density of nightclubs or the endless shopping malls, but you are also not paying for the air you breathe. In Vegas, the environment is the product. In Tahoe, the environment is the amenity. And for once, it's on the house. Part 7. Conclusion. Different tools for different jobs. So, what is the verdict? Is Las Vegas over? No. But it has entered a very specific phase of the corporate life cycle known as peak extraction. In the early days, Vegas was in its growth phase. It needed you, so it courted you with cheap shrimp and loose slots. Now it has reached maturity. The corporations running the Strip aren't looking to attract new gamblers as much as they are looking to maximize the yield from the ones they already have. This isn't personal. It is just cold, hard spreadsheet logic. They have calculated that they can lose the budget traveler and replace them with a luxury client who doesn't care about 6 to 5 odds. Economic history teaches us that markets are like pendulums. When a dominant player pushes prices too high and value too low, they inadvertently create a vacuum. That is exactly what we are seeing with Laughlin, Reno, and the others. These cities are stepping into the void that Vegas left behind, picking up the mantle of the value proposition. The industry isn't dying, it is bifurcating. On one side, you have the experience economy of the Strip, a Disneyland for adults where you pay a premium for the privilege of existence. On the other, you have the utility economy of these alternative cities, where the product is still the gamble itself. This correction is inevitable, but it only works if you exercise your agency. The existence of these alternatives proves that the demand for fair play, reasonable food, and 3-to-2 blackjack hasn't disappeared. It just migrated. The 6 cities we discussed today aren't knockoffs of Vegas. They are specialized tools for specific jobs. If you continue to pay resort fees and accept bad odds out of habit, the prices will never come down. But if you shift your capital to markets that respect your math, you force the industry to listen. The power dynamic hasn't shifted to the corporations unless you hand it to them. Now, I want to hear from you. We have looked at the math, the geography, and the brutal economics of the modern casino industry. If you had to book a trip tomorrow with your own hard-earned money, where are you going? Are you paying the premium for the bright lights of the Strip? Or are you taking the value deal in a place like Reno or Biloxi? Drop your choice in the comments below and tell me why. And if you appreciate this kind of unfiltered economic analysis that puts your bankroll ahead of corporate narratives, hit that like button and subscribe. We'll keep digging into the numbers the industry doesn't want you to see. Thanks for watching, and as always, know the odds before you place the bet.